Devotion can quickly turn dangerous, whether it's focused on famous actors, musicians, or athletes. And some obsessive stalkers have taken their fandom way too far. These are the celebrities who were murdered by their own fans. On December 8, 1980, Beatles legend and rock icon John Lennon, who had eerily predicted his own death, was shot 5 times in the back outside his Manhattan apartment building by former Beatles fan Mark David Chapman. Why? We still don't know.
There are flowers against the gate. People are chanting, singing. Candles are lit. It is raining. Many are here to mourn John Lennon.
According to The Independent, Chapman has given many conflicting reasons as to why he killed Lennon, such as seeking fame, as well as his spiritual beliefs. In 2010, Chapman stated he had a hit list that included Elizabeth Taylor, Paul McCartney, and late-night legend Johnny Carson, but chose Lennon, quote, out of convenience. He also expressed hatred of Lennon's hit Imagine, which he believed made the iconic musician a communist and a hypocrite. He told us to imagine no possessions, and there he was with millions of dollars and yachts and farms and country estates, laughing at people like me who had believed the lies and bought the records and built a big part of their lives around his music. A year after the murder, Chapman was sentenced to 20 years to life in prison and was denied parole for the 11th time in 2020. Ironically, Chapman's desire for fame was one of the factors behind his parole denial in 2018, with the board telling him, "If you were to be released, someone may attempt or succeed in harming you out of anger and/or revenge, or for the same reason that you killed John Lennon, to assume notoriety." Although the sitcom My Sister Sam only enjoyed a brief 2-year run, actor Rebecca Schaeffer was the show's breakout star and was set to take Hollywood by storm. But an obsessed fan named Robert John Bardo was repeatedly writing her letters, and his obsession took a dark turn when he hired a private investigator to find her home address through the California Department of Motor Vehicles. After 3 years of stalking, on July 18, 1989, Bardo showed up to Schaeffer's doorway.
"It's not like we know each other real well or anything."
According to Today, she was auditioning for a role in The Godfather Part 3 and opened the door expecting the script, but was greeted by Bardo instead. When he came back a second time, he had a .357 handgun and proceeded to shoot and kill the 21-year-old actress. Bardo was sentenced to life in prison the following year. The senseless and brutal killing led to the passing of the Driver's Protection Act, which made it a crime to obtain or release personal information from a California resident's DMV records. Schaeffer's My Sister Sam co-star, Pam Dawber, told ABC News in 2019 that she still carries guilt over the incident. "I was so devastated, as everyone else was as well. I thought of Rebecca every day of my life, probably for 2 years." On the morning of July 15, 1997, legendary fashion mogul Gianni Versace was walking back to his Miami mansion from a coffee run when he was shot twice in the back of the head by spree killer Andrew Cunanan. He was 50 years old. According to Vanity Fair, 27-year-old Cunanan claimed to have met the fashion icon in 1990 and bragged that the two were friends.
Police have already narrowed their search to just one man, Andrew Cunanan. The FBI thinks he's a serial killer.
Versace's family denied these claims, and law enforcement was unable to determine why Versace was targeted. As CNN reported, Miami Beach Police Chief Richard Barretto said at the time, "I don't know that we are ever going to know the answers." The name behind the iconic fashion brand was the last victim of Cunanan's cross-country murder spree, which claimed the lives of 5 men. 6 days after Versace's murder, Cunanan's body was found on a Miami houseboat, dead from a self-inflicted gunshot wound. In 2018, the Ryan Murphy-produced The Assassination of Gianni Versace American Crime Story hit the airwaves, and Versace's family was not pleased. In a statement that ran in Vanity Fair, they said, "The Versace family has neither authorized nor had any involvement whatsoever in the forthcoming TV series about the death of Mr. Gianni Versace. This TV series should only be considered as a work of fiction." At the young age of 22, singer Christina Grimmie's career suggested a superstar on the rise. She already had a 3rd-place finish on The Voice and 2 studio albums under her belt. And then it all fell apart when on June 10, 2016, crazed fan Kevin Loibl fatally shot her 4 times during a post-concert meet and greet in Orlando. A witness at the event said that Grimmie opened her arms to her killer, getting ready for a hug before she was killed. Her brother then jumped across the merchandise booth to tackle Loibl, but he managed to escape and then immediately killed himself. A friend described Leubel as a loner with an unrealistic infatuation with Grimmy. He spent most of his waking hours watching Christina on YouTube, as well as constantly monitoring her social media accounts. The stalker even went to great lengths to change his appearance with rapid weight loss, LASIK, teeth whitening, and hair implants, so he would be more attractive to his obsession. Due to the lax security that didn't detect Leubel's 2 handguns, Grimmy's family filed a wrongful death lawsuit against the venue 6 months after the murder. However, 3 years later, the lawsuit was dropped with no explanation given. On December 8, 2004, legendary Pantera guitarist Dimebag Darrell was performing with his new band Damageplan at a Columbus, Ohio nightclub. Tragedy struck during the band's first song, when a fan named Nathan Gale rushed the stage while reportedly shouting, quote, "You broke up Pantera." He then shot the rock god in the head. Gale then shot and killed a bouncer and 2 concertgoers, and also took a hostage before being killed by a police officer. Gale's former friend, Jeremy Bray, told the Columbus Dispatch that prior to the massacre, the eventual killer would write down Pantera's lyrics and try to pass them off as his own. Nathan was off his rocker. He said they were his songs, that Pantera stole them from him, and that he was going to sue them. Another friend told the New York Daily News that the 25-year-old Gale idolized Pantera's lead singer, and that the band's breakup pushed him over the edge. In 2010, a protective fence went up around Darrell's grave after several vandalism attempts, as Pantera drummer Vinnie Paul told Artisan News. "It's just a real disrespectful thing. I don't understand why somebody would want to scratch their name in somebody's tombstone or anything. But fans are rabid. I just wish they would respect him and let him rest in peace." Already known as the, quote, Queen of Tejano music, Latina singer Selena Quintanilla Perez, known the world over as simply Selena, was set to cross over into pop superstardom with the release of her first English-language album, 1995's Dreaming of You. Unfortunately, she wouldn't live to see its monumental success. On March 31st, 1995, Selena was lured to a Days Inn motel in Corpus Christi, Texas, where she was shot and killed by the president of her fan club, Yolanda Saldivar. She was only 23. Saldivar fled to her pickup truck in the motel's parking lot, where she threatened suicide for 10 hours, before being arrested by authorities. Selena's father stated that Saldivar had recently been fired from managing the Chart Toppers boutiques for embezzling funds. In 2012, Saldivar's brother told TMZ that she was carrying out her life sentence in solitary confinement for her own safety. Mistakes in sports happen every day, but Colombia's Andres Escobar paid for one with his life. Heavily favored to win the World Cup on June 23, 1994, Colombia lost in a shocking 2-1 upset to the United States after Escobar, attempting to block a shot, kicked the ball into his team's own net. 10 days after the match, Escobar was partying with friends at Restaurante El Indio in Medellin when 3 people began shouting insults at him, and the situation quickly escalated into deadly violence. Witness Jorge Arango said, "All of a sudden, we heard gunfire, and then Escobar was on the ground, groaning and clutching his chest." Oberto Munoz Castro, one of the perpetrators, reportedly said, quote, "Thanks for the auto goal," before the victim was shot 12 times, dying shortly thereafter. He was just 27 years old. The Los Angeles Times reported that Colombian authorities believed drug traffickers who lost big on the game marked Escobar for death. A year after the murder, Escobar's family created the Andres Escobar Social Project, a soccer program for disadvantaged youth. His father said, "We are not trying to produce great soccer players, rather, great human beings. The school's main objective is to teach children values so that they say no to drugs and to theft."